Yo, what's happening? I'm back with you again, ready to get it in. So, it's your man, King A.D.S, Aiyea the Shadow, A.D.S, you know what I'm saying? Dropping that insight, dropping a little connectivity with you like I love to do. I learned to like doing this a lot more these days. I can't say it's my favorite thing to do yet, but I could say that I do like having the option to use the technology to connect with people and to show them that I'm real, as I always say. You know what I mean? And so while you at it, please do, if you're watching the video, drop me a like, subscribe, share it, just come along for the journey. Check out all the music that I got going on also in my featured channels, as I am involved with whatever I have in my featured channels as well. Would love to have you for the journey. I always enjoy reaching new people with music and creativity and everything. It never gets old. And I love, connecting and communicating with all of y'all and sometimes working with y'all, you know what I'm saying, which is great. So um, anyway, what I wanted to get to this time was, we seem to be in a time, because I feel technology plays somewhat of a part in it, to where we want these results all the time and we're going straight for these results, but aren't necessarily getting the result that we want. So we're trying to get something out of something else, but it's not quite playing out right. So just sharing a little bit about the perspective of what I learned about understanding, right? Now, like I say all the time, I'm not the end all be all. I'm not the source of anything. I'm not a person who thinks he's the source of the all knowing or anything like that. But getting into it, and start with the basic principle of understanding. So how do we develop understanding, the skill of understanding, and how useful that is? You can't even imagine. So it definitely does help unlock doors and break down barriers. And one of the most basic principles that I'm sure that most of us have heard is that, we're born with two of these, and one of these, so we should observe and listen twice as much as we speak. So by taking in the proper information, not nonsensical information, um, studying and practicing those studies and observing. And I do a great deal. As much as you see me talk on these videos, I have a lot of, in my days, I don't talk. I'm by myself a lot of days. So whether I'm doing some work inside of a task, or if I'm working on music, I'm again inside of some sort of a zone. But I'm always learning when I'm doing those things, or I'm simply observing conditions in the, in the area, in life, in out in them streets, or whatever you want to call it, out in the field, and people and things like that. And so it's more, I do a whole lot more observing and listening than some people might think. And I know some people could even, I've observed, over the years, people say, you talk a lot. Well, I'll try to use that to my advantage if I can. And that's only stating the obvious. Yes, I know that I have an active mind and I do speak, you know what I mean? So, it is what it is. But nevertheless, so let me use that, right? So nevertheless, understanding comes from observing and listening more. Also, you've also heard putting yourself in another person's shoes, right? So that goes along with the listening and not thinking of anything to say before the end of what the other individual has, is finished saying what they need to say. You know what I mean? And so not painting any pictures before the picture is presented, you know what I'm saying, to you, the full picture, not adding anything to the picture before it's presented. And so, and sometimes it's hard to do. That one's easier said than done, but it takes practice. And yes, we all make mistakes. And so if I've ever made that mistake with anyone, also, I apologize. I'm not perfect, and we all trying to just get it right and do it the best we can. But so we have that aspect of just getting into another person's perspective, even asking a person, how does one of your days generally go? Walk me through one of your days. to see how their habits are, to see what their actions are, what do they usually encounter. That's as an individual. But it has other usefulnesses too in life, and you're trying to accomplish goals and be successful in things, and asking other talents, if you're a music person, asking other talents, what kind of things that they're into, what's important to them, you know what I mean? That'll help you shape some sort of identity or an image of what can be done with that artist, what kind of material, what kind of imagery can go along with the material. If it's like business, what's important to that business, right? What resources, materials, these things can help in procurement or brokering or services of any sort, and also knowing what's important, walking through that avenue of understanding can bring you to a purpose. As we've stated before, as you go along in your actions, you might find some purpose. You know what I mean? So asking and finding out and listening and being observant may bring you to a good question, and you say, well, would this help? And if it does, then absolutely great, because now you have the ability to either connect something that could have already been being connected but is needed, or something that's never been thought of and now is innovative and is needed. And so it's really awesome. And we know that necessity is the mother of all invention. So, so bringing it right along, purpose, necessity, invention, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. But yeah, just walking through the topic of understanding real quick, because we talked about, you know, what it takes to do a few other things and, gain this and that. And so, like, now let's move on to understanding, you know what I mean? So, in order to build understanding takes a little patience, and you just have to be more observant with these and a little bit less of this. But when the time permits itself, like I'm doing right now, that I can share that. And this is a good place to do that, because it's finally a place where I can actually speak and be heard by someone if they so choose to click on this video and hear me out, you know what I mean? Which is not like a privilege that most people will get in their everyday life. Like, if I was out in everyday life most of the time, since some answers are not the correct answer or proper answer, or anything is not really ideal for everyday conversation, like, you will not get a chance to fit all that detail in. And even if you do, most people won't retain it, or are just not thoroughly interested in it at all, really. Even though they'll ask you, how is this or whatever, they're just not really absorbing it, you know what I mean? So this is a proper time for me to kind of like get some things out and be able to share it, and so if you're along with that sentiment, I appreciate you. And if you see in the video, please drop me a like. You know what I'm saying? Always love likes. Love positive comments. Love subscribing. Subscribe to my channel. Love people to connect with all the time. And I just love to keep growing and vibing and shining and everything like that, and getting a chance to share this side. You know what I'm saying? This side of me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, much love. And till the next time. All right, peace.